Hi everyone, welcome to Type Talks. Today we have Ron with us, and he is an ISTP. And so Ron, would you like to let us know how it's like to date you?
Oh, what's it like to date me? I mean, the most difficult thing is probably first to get to know me. So first you need to get to know me, and then we can talk about the dating phase. Because naturally, especially if you have the ISTP preference, you're a bit more reserved. You're more, in general at least, more of the silent type. You only start to talk when you actually open up to the other person. So first thing is really opening up, and then we can talk about the dating part. Just to see on how I could be opened up, the easiest one for sure for me, if it is in a dating situation. Let's say we had, I don't know, on a dating app, and then we met each other, saw each other. The easiest way is really through physical touch. Maybe not at a greeting and not in the beginning, but later, just doing that, just some physical touch, because for me at least, and I think for a lot of other ISTPs, it's really their love language. So especially as dating is mostly about emotions to getting the feelings, that's the easiest way to opening them up, at least to the emotional bonding, to build some kind of connection. Yeah, so this would be the first thing I would say on this perspective. But let's assume, okay, maybe we've seen each other before, maybe we have at least some slight trust. What will usually happen for me is when I go into the date, usually I'm thinking about, okay, what can we actually do? As usually I'm the one pursuing. I'm usually thinking about, okay, what could we do? Maybe some kind of activity, that's the most likely to do. I mean, we could also just take a walk, but from my experience, when I was on dates on a walk, it's usually, it could happen that I will get stuck in my TI mode. So I'm starting to analyze and maybe not really getting out of myself, but that's also, again, depends on how open my date would be. Do I feel that they're open? If I would say anything to them, would they be willing to talk about it, even if they don't like it? That's fine for me. But are they open for at least hearing it and then saying no to it? That's absolutely fine. So the openness is really a strong perspective. Okay. So when I think about it, I'm usually trying to have some activity or something like this, just to know, just in general, okay, what to do. But that's usually not my main part. The main part is really the interaction, really to get to know each other. So if I know I can open up to you, it usually means I will ask a lot of questions. And as I have also a coaching background, I might probably start to ask you really deep questions about your values and things you like to do. How was your school? And the last time I saw a question, at least for the female audience, I should ask them, hey, what's your relationship to your father? So maybe I should try this the next time. So yeah, like this, I could probably get to know a lot. So I personally probably would ask a lot of questions. But my preference is usually that the other person who I'm in a date is just talking and I'm just listening to them. For me, this would be a lot easier because then I can just ask the questions, getting to know them. And then I also, when I get to know them, I can open up more easily. And then I start to go into my fun mode, what I call it. Some personality types, they are more likely to draw it out of me, my fun mode. What is a fun mode? Probably, I usually like to confuse people, also my dates. So if then I know them, I always maybe do a strange statement and I wonder what is he talking about, or do some strange connections with the wording. And that's for me the fun part, the creative part, what happens there. I would usually move around a lot. I would just getting on my arm and moving away from them, getting back to them. And even if I'm around someone I'm dating and I like them, it's more likely that I also involve other people in the conversation just to get the mood going, just to have fun doing it. I would never do it if I'm alone. Just talking to strangers, getting involved in the conversation, even with friends, I probably wouldn't do it. But if I'm with a date around, hey, they're here for me. So let's involve other people, just that they're getting entertained, that they feel comfortable. And yeah, they have fun on the date and experience a lot of different things. So ICPs for sure have a strong fun part in them, only when they opened up to you.
It seems like there's this common element of you being a little reserved. And so when someone opens that up, you have a funner side or you have a more playful side that emerges. But sometimes you can get lost in analysis if you go into your introverted thinking and you can analyze something in depth a lot and be in your own mind, it seems like. And you also talked about physical touch. And that could partially relate to extroverted sensing. And it can also correlate with you also being a male as well. And so I just noticed that guests that I have on that are men tend to prefer physical touch. Females can, of course, too, but there's a statistical correlation towards guys and physical touch as well. It's just a fun fact that I notice. So it seems like you're quite reserved. You like it when the other person does more of the talking so you can absorb what they're saying almost, and it gives you a more relaxed position. You mentioned you like to confuse them. Is this the spontaneous side of you that just likes to throw something out there to be playful with your date?
Yeah, I also like to play pranks in a sense. I mean, I won't do it in that often, but as I know myself, yes, I will probably for sure at one point or another will do a little prank just to see how they react. Yeah, just to see their reaction and then moving on to something else, even if it didn't work out, as long as they were fine with it and not completely upset or something about stuff I done. But when they would get upset, yes, this reflects totally, would also reflect on me. Because if I'm dating someone, I'm focused on them. And if they're in a bad mood, this will reflect totally onto me. So my FE is really also doing a strong thing there. Yeah, and maybe on a note, as we talked about the extroverted sensing, I think in the connection with FE, the connection piece, extroverted feeling, I think this also feeds in quite strong in the physical touch, because when I have the physical touch, I build the connection I'm aspiring to have. I mean, usually, yeah, I'm on my own, doing my ISTP stuff in that sense. Yeah, learning about stuff. But if I'm in this mode with someone else, yeah, I for sure want to have that connection. And I also feel that it, yeah, would make my life even better. I mean, I'm good on my own. I don't have an issue, but if I have this, at least for me, I notice that when I'm together with someone, I have more motivation to do even more stuff than I would usually do. I mean, for example, if I take today, I had to do some homework for one of my trainings I'm doing right now, but I procrastinated on it already since 1 or 2 months because it's just answering questions, nothing special about it, no fun in it. And if I would know, hey, there's someone who is waiting on me, wants to do with something with me, then I would, yeah, just get it done, that I can do this with them, maybe for them, whatever the case may be. So there's a really strong connection on this piece. I think I got a little sidetracked I mean, maybe from the usual, what's called demeanor, or at least how I would seem to be when I'm dating. I'm usually quite optimistic. I also have quite a calm energy to it, and usually some kind of chill energy. So if you want to date someone who's chill, doesn't complain about anything, ISTP is probably a really good fit for that. The only thing you need to consider, yeah, sometimes they might be quite quiet, maybe because they're bored and no idea what you're currently doing. That might also happen why they're quiet. Yeah, and sometimes they just like to listen in.
It seems like Dating an ISTP is low maintenance, so they're chill and they're quite calming. It also seems like when you're dating someone, it gives you motivation to do things as well. So you talked about how it's easier to motivate yourself when you're with a partner, and I think this has to do with extroverted feeling because it's easier to do things when there's a connection and you're doing it for someone else, or if someone else is as invested into it as you are, it helps motivate you. And so there are a lot of ISTPs and INTPs who work better when they're with a partner because they feel motivation to do things.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the end, the FE is the aspirational part. So yeah, they're getting motivated to do something for others, so they feel useful in the moment. And you shouldn't forget, the TI is always connected to the FE. So actually, it's not the TI which is driving the extroverted feeling. It's the extroverted feeling, which is the driver. You don't see it consciously, but down there, it's always extroverted feeling, which drives your introverted thinking, which tries to clarify stuff, to make it clear, to problem solve, to create your framework that you can reuse it later for others, especially for ISTPs. I'm not sure about INTP, how strong they do it, but for ISTP for sure. Yeah, they create this framework in their mind, and the main reason is really to help others through their FE. That's yeah, even if they wouldn't admit to it, or maybe if they're don't know about all these 16 personality stuff, cognitive functions, maybe they are not aware about it, but still their behavior gets really yeah, influenced by the extrovert feeling. At least for me, it's the case. I'm not sure about others. There's always yeah, a difference. Maybe it's less developed for others, but for me, I notice it quite strongly. Yeah, I mean, maybe another thing, I think INTP is also quite the same. ISTPs, they can be quite frugal, so they don't need a lot of stuff. So as they don't need a lot of stuff, they don't need to earn a lot, so they wouldn't really need to work a lot in that sense because they don't need it. But if they have a partner, yeah, there's a reason for it, and maybe that's the main point. I always need a reason for something. TI, I need a reason to do this, to that. If it's just for me, I don't have a real reason. As long as I survive, have something to eat, something to live in, no issue.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good way of putting it, Ron, that you need a reason to do anything. And so when you have a partner, it then gives you that reason to do certain things. All right. Well, thank you for shedding a light into your mind. I hope, audience members, that you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care.